Ah. Okay.
Connected to channel Theo.
Okay.
Fallen says.
Oh
07.
Fallen.
99 says.
Amir.
Hi.
Mr.
Mr.
Theo,
Theo,
where
where
were
were
you?
you?
We're at the
Wystone
Youngstown
says.
State University.
It's
It's
Theo.
Theo.
Yo. Dooku, thank you for the sub. I know I haven't been on lately. Thank you. Okay, what else do I have to do here? But you know what? I would like a bigger screen. Just for a minute. Hello, ship.
Ship says.
Violetry of Frogwave.
Hello, ship. All right. Can we see the screen?
Amir 99 says.
What
What
glitter?
glitter?
Thank you. It's my winter coat. Okay, how's that? If I'm here? All right, sound check. Can you hear me okay?
John says Neovimus Best says.
Time to
Time to
shape.
shape it.
Amir 99 says.
Are you
Are you
teaching
teaching
there?
there?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna borrow this one. Can't see, but I'm gonna take it.
John says Neovimus Best says.
26 months,
26 months,
baby.
baby.
Gubby. I borrowed a table. Actually, I just need the table, actually. Where'd the mouse go? No, I need to type. You know what? I think I need to be over there.
Fallen says.
Wow. I tried and failed.
Can you
Which
hear
was
me okay? You can help me with sound. Can you hear me okay? Amir, it's in the description. We're going to be doing borrowing
Amir
GitHub credentials.
Okay. It's good.
It's good.
There's not going to be any ducking. You guys are going to be able to use TTS until I start. How's that sound?
Fallen says.
Okay,
Sorry, I should have read the title.
Wystone says.
It's muffled when you're towards the table and hearing some feedback from the TTS.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It is. It's coming through the desktop, I think. So I'm going to kill desktop audio so you can just hear it in the air. And then when I start the presentation, I will turn the desktop on and kill this little speaker here. Okay. How far can I go back? Can you see me? The reflection's bad. But if I move over here, put the camera over there.
MEF99 says.
We can see you.
Thanks.
John says Neovimus Best says.
R.
Thank you. That works.
Pure says.
Look at Mr. Fresh Trim.
Fallen says.
Pure, thank you again for the site.
Intet of the TV. Will you be streaming the actual screen?
No, I can't.
John says
It's a limited
Neovimus
setup.
Best
I can't do
says.
that.
Had to keep it short in case lol.
If I mirror it, it's going to take my resolution. This is way more real estate to work with.
It's a smaller room than last time.
No, it's bigger. This is the first one we were at.
Freerealestate.com.
Hey, actually, that's
Ogumbi
better. I can
says.
work with that. Get it out of your system, gang.
John says Neovimus Best
How
says.
we doing?
How long till start?
Half an hour. Yeah, 30 minutes now. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Nice. Are you gonna win?
You know it. I've used it before, just
MEF99 says.
explaining it.
So happy to see you.
Good to see you too, Amir. Oh, we got a name tag. Clip or pin?
John says Neovimus Best says.
How much for mentorship?
All right. Let's run through it. How's that sound? You all are over here on the left. You won't be able to see it. You won't be able to hear it. But you guys are on the left. Hey, Gumby. I can't give you 8-bit Theo. Can't give you 8-bit Theo. Boy, that doesn't look good, does it? You can't pull the camera any closer. Maybe a chair? Not without blocking.
Madam Fabulous says.
You can do the burpees though. Devilish face.
Madam Fabulous, always a pleasure. Janky rig. Friggin' heavy.
John says Neovimus Best says.
Can't need the screen over?
Can't what? What screen? What the shit?
DI.
Okay, now, but the problem there is I don't think you can't see me.
RN Ogumbi says,
Can you scan share the presentation?
It's not on the same computer. Yeah, not on the same machine.
Amief99 says,
Time to buy a camera stand.
John says Neovimus Best says,
The cam on laptop or phone?
No, you don't got time. It's only 30 minutes. I don't got time to set up a new cam. I appreciate the suggestion, though. Can I publish it? The is that a thing? Can I publish it from, because I can do that on Google Slides. Can you do that with PowerPoint?
You got this. We can see fine. You worry about the folks there more than stream.
Public live session audience. What does that mean?
Not sure.
I don't know what I just selected, but it didn't do anything. Share? Yeah, there's a share button. Oof. It's not going to sit well there.
Fallen says,
When's the talk?
2 o'clock my time, so 20 minutes.
So you got about 20 minutes.
All right, let's run through the exploit. Right? Remia, there's my terminal. And there's Chrome. Boy, using the mouse over there in that big ass screen, I didn't think that was going to be a problem. All right. Oh, I could share it. Yeah. Let me share it so you can follow along. It's up in the top right corner. Copy link. Settings. Can edit. Can view. Apply. Link copied. Here you go.
Theo says,
Web link.
Cypher, I can't. How can I possibly redeem those? Do you want one? I'm not connected to it. All right, let me know if that link works. Maybe I can move this way to see everyone. That makes the glare worse.
RN Ogumbi says,
Thank you.
Yeah, it works.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Yeah.
There. I won't do that.
Unlike Theo. Oh.
Ooh. Oh, Preppa, how you doing? Thank you. Okay. So
RN Ogumbi says,
Yes, Daddy.
thank you, Gumby. That works. There's that. There's that. All right. So we do EvilGinx.
Oh, and BTW your mom.
Thank you. Get off my mom.
Tell your mom to get off of me.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Good.
Am I good to make an announcement here in a couple minutes?
John says Neovimus Best says,
EvilGinx.
No, right around there.
It's right around the corner, yep.
Okay.
To the right and then straight to the left. But,
Got it.
Alright, in that case, I'll wait.
Just give me 5 minutes. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go now.
I'll do.
Yeah.
Not trying to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. It's good. I'm just gonna run through it.
RN Ogumbi says,
Don't mind me and Jace at setting up Arch BTW.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Arch is best with Hyperlink.
All right.
RN Ogumbi says,
I like plasma.
Fallen says,
I remember when I was doing a talk for people at work, I used Google Remote Desktop with viewing access and then used a browser source so I can stream the screen. With OBS.
Madam Fabulous says,
Here's the warm-up presentation.
Zoogs says,
Zooks.
Theo with the big monitor.
Dude,
Madam
this is new.
Fabulous
This
says,
is massive.
Web link.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Plasma is okay, but dang, it adds a lot of bloat.
Zoogs says,
Look at that man strutting in.
Jess says,
Theo likes to ignore us all. Too good for us all now.
Jess, stop it.
Fallen says,
You got this, Theo Carrot.
Thank you. Hi, Jess.
Zoog says,
This is light work, you're gonna kill it.
Jess says,
Sorry, I don't know who you are. The Theo I know lives in a basement.
I do. I've gotten way too much vitamin D. I feel lightheaded. All right, we gotta fire this off before people start coming in. Lures. Okay, create lures. Lures. Get URL 1. Lures.
Zoog says,
Vitamin D's new.
Oh.
Jess says,
Should have worn your Grinch sweater.
Shut up. Copy. All right.
RN Ogumbi says,
Oh.
There we go. Jess, you want to do it right, please? By the way, this is great stuff. This will be great. Just for the beginning. I mean, really roast me. Don't hold back. But be aware that, you know, this is a professional setting. Please.
Jess says,
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yes, that kind of stuff like that. Okay. Uh-oh.
RN Ogumbi says,
Your mom is great stuff.
Madam Fabulous says,
Web link.
Uh-oh.
Zoog says,
You should really turn off TDS for that big dog.
Wooski Williams on YouTube says,
Who Creds?
Zoog says,
The internet is not to be trusted.
Uh-oh. That's what I was afraid of.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Web link.
Uh-oh. Site can't be reached. I have internet access. What do you mean site can't be reached? Did I enable it?
Madam Fabulous says,
Web link.
Uh-oh.
Wooski Williams on YouTube says,
I can't see the screen. What's going on else? Stream, bro.
Can someone get Whiskey Williams the presentation? Yeah, I'm connected to the internet. Did I enable the lure? I did enable the lure. Get GitHub? Neither of them are working.
Madam Fabulous says,
Web link.
You know what?
Kitty says, Noiki one bleb. Translated from Italian. How long lol?
10 minutes. I can't connect to the damn. I wasn't expecting this. I can't
Eurisen
connect.
says,
We're in a new room.
translated from Portuguese. Kitty says, nervous. Wooski Williams on YouTube says,
Sorry, I'm gone, bro.
Okay, bro.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Gotta use Bray.
Oh, why can't I connect to it here?
Kitty says, you leaving TTS on during?
No, absolutely
John
not.
says Neovimus Best says,
School firewall blocking you?
The site can't be reached. So I'm remoted into my house and I'm able to access the web page there, but it won't let me access it
Kitty says,
here.
damn.
Okay, let me pull this over now. Let me test. I gotta test. Make sure this works.
N1Cf101 says,
Howdy.
Dish 8.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Are you on their Wi-Fi?
I am. I have to be.
RN Ogumbi says,
School firewall is backing it.
It's blocking me from.
RN Ogumbi says,
Blocking.
Got him.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Might need to try hotspot from phone?
Zaskus says,
No, something's off.
Hello, mate. How to doing?
Good, Zerks. How are you? Hey, we're 5 minutes away. Hey.
Hey,
How you doing? Good. How's it going?
Good.
Kitty says, have you tried using Tunnel Bear, the only VPN that allows you to tunnel? Like a bear. 5% off with code RUA.
I'm streaming this live to Twitch.
Okay.
So that's chat's text to speech.
Okay.
So they're going to be unhinged for like the first 5 minutes or so here.
Okay. All good.
And
Thought you were interacting with the bot.
it feels like they are.
Yeah.
Zaskus says,
Oh, I'm right in, I guess. I'm good, sir. Waiting for your speech.
Kitty says, help us. We in his base. Ent.
It works.
RN
I
Ogumbi
don't know
says,
why.
We are
It
not
won't let me
bots.
here, but it works.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Theo is the professor of NeoVim.
NeoVim is garbage.
RN Ogumbi says,
Theo pays used to say that.
Kitty says, it's not really Twitch, not being fed for 3 weeks. Fallen says,
That cup next to the technology is an accident waiting to happen.
It's fine. Everything's under control.
John says Neovimisbest says.
Theo has a bromance with NeoVim.
Urizen says.
Hotspot or bust.
Kitty says. Help. Help. Help.
Nori, stop
Help.
that. He's over here. Close you. I never thought.
Free snacks and vodka in this room. Please come inside. We also have hot chocolate.
Oh, that's the sound on.
RN Ogumbi says.
We are locked in
How you
Theo's
doing?
basement and won't let us out.
John
not
says
funny.
Neovimisbest says.
Snacks.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to be streaming this live to Twitch and YouTube. Against my better judgment, I told chat that they could have
Kitty says.
TTS for a little bit.
Daddy,
Text to speech.
can we have pizza tonight? RN Ogumbi says.
Yes, it is, and you know it is.
So this is interesting, which we'll talk about when I get started. But I can't connect to my EvilGinx server that's running
John
on my
says
VPS
Neovimisbest says.
Theo is hacker
on the network
extraordinaire.
here. And I can't figure out why. But since I ran it from the house, I know it works from my house. So I'm team viewed into my house's computer to run the website that it's mimicking. This all makes sense when I explain it.
Is there a security protocol that's preventing it from going out on this network? Must be.
Yeah, but like it doesn't. It has, and that's the good thing about EvilGinx is that it has all the certificates to make it look secure and legit. So I don't understand. That's what I mean. I'm still puzzled why I can't pull it up.
Kitty says. Theo supports the Cowboys.
Absolutely not.
They are the best.
No, they're not. The Browns.
John says
I support the
Neovimisbest
Browns, even though they
says.
suck.
It's cause you talked bad about NeoVim.
How you doing?
Kitty
Hi, how are you?
says. Your shoelace is untied.
Thank you, Nori.
Pure says.
You support the Browns? Since when you have a 49ers flag above you set up?
RN Ogumbi
Behind
says.
me? I absolutely do.
Browns are number one, the number one losers, that is.
I can't help it. You're all fair weather fans. By the way, how'd the Chiefs do in the Super Bowl, Gumby?
John says Neovimisbest says.
Ohio is a state still?
Okay, gang. They'll go on and on and on. So that was the Twitch chat. I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube right now. The camera is pointed towards me. It's not my intention to get any of you all on camera. I do have a microphone so it catches my voice. If anyone's uncomfortable with their voice being captured, I can mute that, no problem too. So just let me know once we get the Q&A. Feel free to stop me at any time. I like this GIF. If anyone asks me like, what am I doing or what am I up to this week? I know I'm usually saying this. I'll send them to the boss too. I love it too because I'm sure you hear enough about AI, but like he grows a third arm there and then a fourth arm there with a banana, which almost feels like what AI does to code. It gets something done, but you don't know exactly how in some instances. So that is my link tree. It has all my links on it. It's got my my LinkedIn, my Twitch, YouTube, and any other contact information in there. Stealing GitHub credentials and multi-factor authentication tokens with EvilGinx. Is anyone familiar with EvilGinx? No? It borrows from Nginx, the GINX at the end. I feel like it's like a GIF situation. It would make sense to call it EvilGinx, but even the creator of EvilGinx calls it EvilGinx. So you'll have that. I'm Brad Theodore. I'm a penetration testing engineer with Shield Surge Consulting. Move this back a little bit. A little bit about me. I actually have my bachelor's in hospitality management from YSU. I graduated with it back in 2001. Ins and outs with the restaurant industry, beverage distribution industry. I sold Red Bull and Arizona iced teas downtown Akron. And I previously worked for a trucking company, Miller Transfer, heavy haul trucking company. I have a master's in information technology with a concentration in cybersecurity from the University of Cincinnati. I have a Security Plus certification, and I'm studying for OSCP. I'm already starting with the acronyms. Is everyone familiar with OSCP? Yeah, Offensive Security Professional. It's the big one. It's the 24-hour exam. It's proctored. You have to exploit. It's not a set amount of boxes. There's a certain percentage that you have to that you have of points that you have to just a little bit more about Shield Search. We're a subcontractor at the U.S. Office of Personnel Management since 2016, providing penetration testing, threat hunting forensics, cyber threat intelligence, and incident response, of which I do penetration testing. Also a subcontractor for DHS and CISA, Risk and Vulnerability Assessment Penetration Testing Program, where we pen tested local governments and critical infrastructure private sector companies on behalf of DHS and CISA. So how do you protect your accounts? I don't want to pull the room. I'm not trying to point the finger at anyone, but if you're using any of those solutions down there that are in red, consider some of the ones in green or yellow. I do have a few family members that use a notepad or an address book. They're a little bit older. I mean, the pad's not leaving the house, and if it gets them to not reuse passwords, that's a win. I have other family members that put all of their passwords in a notes app on their phone. I don't suggest that either. And of the green up there, token app for 2FA, so that's like a multi-factor authentication, Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. A password manager of some sort is always good, and even better and the best are passkeys or YubiKeys. Real quick in the room, is anyone using a YubiKey or passkeys on their accounts? Okay, thank you for your honesty. You'll see why they have little asterisks there in a little bit. All right, EvilGinx. EvilGinx is developed and maintained by Kuba Gretzky. It's available on GitHub. It's written in Go and includes its own HTTP and DNS servers. It's a man-in-the-middle attack framework designed for stealing credentials and session cookies to bypass two-factor authentication. Is anyone familiar with man-in-the-middle attacks? Can you describe them real briefly, overview?
Yeah, if you're talking like a local network, usually you have like a DNS. If you're talking like, if we're doing like a DNS man in the middle, you'd have a kind of like a familiar or like snooping on a, so like say unsecured Wi-Fi, for example.
Yep.
You're able to view what the person's kind of going to.
Mhm.
So you can kind of like spy on them and you kind of see like their data and what they're sending from that perspective, and then you're able to take that and then potentially use their passkeys. If they're using passkeys, since it's unsecured, probably you can use like Wireshark, probably to view those packets, and then use that to potentially steal data.
Yep. That's a form. Yep, that's good. Yep.
Oh, no, nothing. I was just gonna say, I pretend I'm the router to you, and to you, to you, I pretend I'm the router. Like I tell the router I'm you, and you tell vice versa.
Yep. Yep.
Just hang out there.
And it's a lot like what's going on there. EvilGinx will sit right in between the user on their computer or in their browser, and receive information from them, and then from the EvilGinx server submit it to the website server, pretending that it's you, and then back and forth and vice versa. So it sits right in the middle of there, and that's exactly what it does. And since 2FA since 2FA, like cookies and browsers, since it's just data and it's stored in the browser while you're on it, that's why this works. It operates as a reverse proxy, intercepting traffic between the user and the target website to capture information. Reverse proxy is a server that sits between the client, like a user's browser, and a web server, forwarding the client request to the server and returning the server's responses to the client. And I can share this presentation to I'm sorry, yeah, to the Discord after. I can make it so in case you miss anything, or we can go back to the slides later. Just let me know. Important. It's intended for legitimate penetration testing and red teaming with proper authorization. I went through the process of trying to get my GitHub spoof domain, and I got a little bit of pushback from Namecheap. They weren't real happy with my explanation, which I thought was good. I name dropped YSU and my company's name and everything, but they still wouldn't cough it up. So I actually had someone, they may be in the chat right now, Pure, who helped me get it from Cloudflare. We got it directly from Cloudflare. Access to EvilGinx Mastery and the BreakDev Discords, that's where EvilGinx lives, are only granted with a business email and are vetted personally by Kuba. Now anyone can register for a business email, but it makes it just a little bit harder. You're not going to get anyone with a Gmail address getting access to those learning platforms. Any questions so far? Anything comes up, just stop me. One thing I wanted to say about like cybersecurity versus dev. Now, are you in cybersecurity too? And you are as well? Is anyone else in cybersecurity? So everyone else is doing dev work of some kind? It's always interesting, the dynamic between like cybersecurity devs. Because I've done a couple of these, and last year we talked about the XZ hack, which I thought was fascinating. They fished and they social engineered this guy over the course of like 3 years until they found a breaking point with him where he couldn't maintain the repo anymore, and he gave it like these people that were in his repo for 3-4 years. He thought he could trust them, and he gave them the keys. And I don't know if anyone else read up on it. Like it got included in an update to a couple of Linux distributions, malicious code, and it was about to get released into Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu, and Kali. I mean, it was really a number they did on him. So when I try to look at topics for these talks, I try to find something that can kind of bridge the gap here too. So I'm hoping that accomplishes this. Okay, the EvilGinx fishlets. So the EvilGinx framework uses fishlets to mimic how the web traffic and capture data and trick the user. It's a YAML file. And that's what it does. So just going down through the breakdown of the It takes a version to make sure you're using the correct version, because I believe he's on three versions right now. And he has EvilGinx Pro, so there's a Pro version as well. Proxy host defines how EvilGinx handles web traffic to mimic GitHub in this instance. This proxy host section says, make our fake domain, which is going to be login-github.org, pretend to be GitHub. Is landing true means that this is the main page users see, which is going to be the login page, and session true means that we'll capture session cookies here. Login, this login portion points to the real GitHub page that the EvilGinx will mimic. So it pulls github.com, and then the path. So GitHub is, we need the domain, but we also, EvilGinx needs to know where the credentials are going to be put in. And then in the credentials section, it takes note of the form field where for the username. It needs a little search, like this little, there's nothing else really to describe of it other than it just needs that particular syntax to grab whatever the user puts in the form, and then type post. That's what EvilGinx is looking for, a post request to capture that data from. It does that for the login, for the username, and for the password, and then the tokens at the bottom. Auth tokens, GHSesh and user session are the two main ones that we have to capture. And we're going to run it on YSU's. No. The whole EvilGinx setup is on my infrastructure on a VPS. And I've actually had to tell them a couple times that I do penetration testing and phishing from it, because they'll see all kinds of like this weird traffic coming from it. So they've vetted me a couple times. They asked for like a boss's name and my employer and to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's on my VPS. The only thing I'm doing is using YSU's Wi-Fi to get to it. We're going to start EvilGinx with a command. We're going to enable the fishlet because if you keep it enabled and just let it out there, it'll be constantly being hit by scanners and skimmers or whatever is out there, like Shodan or whatever, or people's machines crawling the internet. We're going to create a lure, and that lure gives us a URL, and then we're going to flip over to the phishing side where I'll pretend to be the victim, and then you're going to see the credentials and tokens come in real time. Then we're going to see the tokens in the sessions. We're going to take that. And then we're going to take it and we're going to put it in an extension called edit this cookie, and then we're going to clear out our browser history, and then we're going to log into GitHub with our stolen credentials just by using the cookie. All right, can everyone see that okay? So here's the fishlet. Our login, our credentials, and our auth tokens. One thing I failed to mention, there's GitHub repositories full of fishlets. One of the guys, actually, let me take a look real quick. Anon Uday Airbnb, Alibaba, Amazon, Google, Office 365, and they have to keep changing also. Looks like he had one working October from last, well, that's 3 years ago at this point. But they have to keep changing because the logins keep changing. And if they change like one little thing that affects the YAML file, then it has to be recreated. We navigate into the EvilGinx application, and at this point we have to activate or enable. It tells us that it has all the necessary TLS certificates. You just check it again, make sure it's enabled. And then we check the lures. Now it has them there. I'm going to generate another one though. It creates another one with 2. And I will get the full URL, lures, get URL 2. And there's our phishing link. So what I'm not showing is how you actually get this like into someone's, get it to the point where they click on it. Everything, it's not just email anymore. I mean, everything has a messaging system. I was actually going to check with you guys. I'd like to see if we could like bring it down, my EvilGinx server. However you would be, YSU Computer Club would be okay or not okay with me to post one of the links. But I understand if not, because I don't want anyone accidentally putting their credentials in.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, totally understand. So there's one of those. There's one of those crawlers.
You could do it if you post a warning with it, like don't put your real credentials in or something.
Okay, we can talk about it. I didn't want to put you on the spot here. We're going to copy it here. So this is what I was talking about briefly. I'm going to try it again. For some reason, I can't get it to run on the Wi-Fi here. The site can't be reached. Connection was reset. Check proxy firewall. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's running on my VPS up in the cloud somewhere. So I have to go back and take a look at it. But on my home infrastructure, that's what's over here. Oh, wait, what did that do? Oh, I was still logged in. Okay. Let's kill that. Delete browsing history again. We'll try it again. And so this is the fake landing page, or it's mimicking the actual GitHub page. I just want to pull them up side by side so you can see. That there's no difference between the two. At least I've been able to see. Anyone else? Can anyone see anything that looks off or different between the two? It shouldn't, because it's mimicking the exact website. It's not like recreating it. It's like it's mimicking it.
The color's different.
What's that?
The color's slightly different.
I didn't hear it.
The color is slightly different.
The color? Oh, it is too. That's like a brighter green?
Well, like even the background.
Okay.
Might be the glare of the sun.
Maybe. But no, I think I see it a little bit too. Let's close that guy out. And we're going to put in some credentials. We're just going to keep an eye on the, down at the bottom here, the terminal window.
If you were using the password app, would it know the difference between these two?
The, what password app?
Maybe
Like-
Google passwords.
Google Authenticator, or like a Google, it's stored like in the browser, it stores it in the browser?
Sure. The Google Chrome password
Yeah.
app. Would it say this is not the website associated with GitHub? This is not GitHub.
So if you were to navigate to the actual, if you were to use the password manager to open up github.com, then no, it wouldn't capture them. If you were to use the lure and then use GitHub password manager wouldn't make the connection between the two. It'd be looking for github.com.
Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't give it up.
It wouldn't give up the
You'd
password.
be like, why doesn't my password not remember where I am?
Right.
My password manager. It would that'd be a red flag.
That'd be a red flag. Yep. Yep. But if you were to force it and say, search for GitHub, and then copy and paste.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yes. But no, you're right. Yeah. It wouldn't detect the actual GitHub website and shouldn't provide it to.
And then
the
once
fake
you
one.
did that once, it would actually start with a second password.
Yeah, it would store it if you did.
Login dash
Yep.
github.org.
Yep. Did I put that in right with the glare?
You missed the
No.
H in fish.
What's that?
I think you missed the H.
The glare is something else. I keep forgetting where I'm at. So it's got the username and password so far, and this is the authenticator. EvilGinx has let me know that all the authorization tokens are intercepted. Well, that's nice. It's asking me to do a passkey. It's a good idea. Okay, so now we're logged in. Yeah. I'll check the icon in the corner.
So are we actually in GitHub now, since we passed the point of EvilGinx?
So what's going on right now is we are on GitHub's website, but it's being proxied through my, yep. It takes a second to it takes a second to explain it because there's, again, something in the middle. So we're interacting with GitHub right now, but the login is my domain. So what's going on right now is that we're logged in. leave that open for a second. We come down here, take a look at sessions, and 225. There's a username, password, and then tokens are captured. So if I do a sessions 25, I've been testing it a couple times. There's all the cookie data that I need to log in. So I'm gonna grab this from bracket to bracket. I'm gonna copy that. So I'm just gonna close this out because what would happen if I logged out?
Session could be closed.
Yeah, the cookie would be invalid. I think this is an excellent use case because I have a ridiculous amount of tabs open on and I'm logged into numerous sessions. So
Always log out.
what's that?
Always log out.
It's a good idea to log out. Yeah. I mean, but then you gotta log back in, and then do your authentication token. But yeah, you're right. So we're just gonna close this guy out like it's any other tab. I'm gonna delete the browsing data, so when I go back to there, it doesn't log me in. Right? And then I'm gonna open up. Oh, you know what? Maybe that doesn't matter. Do I have the cookie? I have the cookie. I'm gonna try this real quick. I'm gonna go to github.com here. github.com, log in. This is edit my cookie. I'm dumping the cookie in there. Saying, yeah, keep that. Now it's in my session. And now I go to github.com. Log in. And I'm the user. I'm the user on github.com, just supplying its cookies and tokens to edit this cookie, and it's in, and I'm in. Okay, why should you care? Open source software. This is open source software that's available on GitHub. Anyone can run it, and there's official repos all over the place. And they're constantly being updated because the login pages constantly change. Session cookie theft passes two-factor authentication. Reason why YubiKeys and passkeys I had highlighted up there is because those are the only two things that will prevent this against EvilGinx. Everything else can be taken through session tokens. GitHub accounts are gold mines. Private repos, API keys, secrets, teams, and organizational access, all kinds of wealth of information out there. And it can be a stepping stone to bigger targets. Supply chain attacks, social engineering, like the XC hack that I mentioned there. What can you do about it? Check URLs carefully. Be skeptical. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't just blindly put in creds anywhere or through links. Use a password manager, definitely. Enable two-factor authentication, and consider using passkeys for your like most valuable information. You can use you could do it. Like Google offers passkeys, Bitwarden offers passkeys. It's something that is a direct tie between the hardware of your device and that software. And a lot of us do like a lot of like dev on like 1 or 2 devices. I don't think it's too hard to set up. Learn to spot phishing. Again, be skeptical if something feels off. It probably is. And secure your development environment. Don't hard code secrets in your code, which I think goes without saying. Oh, that's it. Any questions? I don't think that was it. That was it. Okay. Those are some questions that get you started. People ask me, well, like, what can I do? And to help better protect yourself and stop reusing passwords and use a password manager. Definitely don't click links in emails and DMs and SMS. People ask me where I've lived. Those are a couple cities where I live. Super Mario Brothers 2, which is one of my favorite video games, is actually Doki Doki 2 skinned and resold to recoup losses from Doki Doki 2, which I didn't know. The best drink in gallon form is Bojangles Sweet Tea, and I'm a fan of the Cleveland Browns. All right, that's all I had. Any questions? Okay, thanks for coming.
It's hard to have any questions. I mean, you kind of went through it all step by step, and everything is not a whole lot else to have questions on, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to ask about passkeys, but you clarified that it uses hardware, and that's how it can't just be intercepted and replicated.
It's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, your URL. Your URL.
Yeah.
You pay for that?
Yeah.
So.
It's a couple bucks.
Oh, for you it's a couple bucks. .org like.
No,
I'm talking about the
my phishing one.
The phishing one for GitHub. Yeah.
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 So Namecheap wouldn't sell it to me.
Yeah, you said you got it from Cloudflare.
But I got it from Cloudflare. If
Yeah.
Pure's still in chat, Pure, was it too much? So I'm not very familiar with Cloudflare. I had to activate my own.
I've recently been fighting with it on a domain name that's been
Have you?
registered for 20 years, trying to figure out who had it and stuff. Rotary Club domain, HollandRotary.org, literally, and I didn't know who Cloudflare was.
Okay.
Until then.
Yeah, so it's new to me also.
Yeah.
But they're a proxy service basically. I mean, they speed up the internet, right? So they have these servers all over the place, and they
So are they cheap? Cheaper than like
I mean, like I don't know honestly.
So, but you bought it,
Yeah, no, actually, someone in my community bought it.
and they let you use it.
Yeah.
They give you access.
They what do they call it? You could transfer it.
So they transferred it to you
They
for
transferred
this
it to me.
demo.
Yeah.
So it's what dash GitHub? What is it?
It is GitHub dash login.
No, login-github.org is what it was.
Login dash GitHub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, you spent like $35 for a demo.
Yeah.
Domain is what
No.
I'm thinking. But,
I don't think
but-
so. But it's a good one to have. I mean, you probably sell it
that's
off.
the thing. So basically, when you decide what you want to have, you got to buy that domain.
So you got to buy that domain name, or you have to find something. It's typo squatting, or almost. I just had to have something to look close to it, and GitHub is pretty locked down. Like GI, the number 1 HUB, they won't let you buy. GitHub.
Do they own it already? Do they own their domains that are?
You have to give them explicit. What they asked me for was explicit consent from GitHub that I was pen testing their network. I didn't have that.
Yeah. So that's Cloudflare that was telling you.
That was Namecheap.
Namecheap.
Namecheap.com. It's like GoDaddy.
It's a GoDaddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then someone, like I said, someone in the community was on Cloudflare, saw that it was available for purchase. So I think it's a different dynamic. Cloudflare is something else, and Namecheap is a reseller of domains.
Okay.
So it's in their best interest to keep as clean as possible
Namecheap.
to keep reselling those domains.
Yeah. Also, too, I mean, that's a pretty good domain name. It probably has actual value. Like, people who want to hack GitHub would buy that domain. It's worth more than just face value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, but again, getting it in front of people is really I think people have gotten better about keeping an eye on domains, but, and this is the point I should have made. Everyone has a button. There's something that happens or could happen in our life that just short circuits our normal like procedural understanding. And it could be anything, but once they get that button and they send this link to you, your only thought is get logged in ASAP.
Right.
And that thing looks so close to the GitHub login page. If you're in a hurry or there's an emergency or something distracting you, you're not looking at the URL. And once your tokens are in, it's over.
Well, you're saying you were talking about like asked to scrutinize what it was consuming and showing stuff. It didn't rebuild it. It's passing it through, right? You're looking at it through a mirrored browser of sorts.
You are
right. I mean, it didn't. It's
EvilGinx mimics the actual GitHub page.
When you say mimic, it consumes all of the visual elements of the GitHub server serving up a website, and then it replaces the field backend that says when this submits on the login username password, when you submit, it's actually not submitting to GitHub, it's submitting to Jinx. That's what I'm seeing. Like, it's literally consuming the exact same objects.
It is.
And the same cascading style sheets or whatever's in there.
That.
Same colors.
It doesn't need all the back end stuff.
Right.
The back end stuff is supplied by EvilGinx.
Well, the back end, especially what's on the other end of those forms that you're submitting.
Yeah. The fishlet will
the fishlet says don't submit it to GitHub, submit it to Jinx, EvilGinx.
Yep, and then we'll serve it back to the user to make them think that they're on GitHub's.
So I mean, it is the same website.
Yeah,
minus,
it is.
Minus the code on the back end of the table submission, however it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same when EvilGinx is interacting with it.
Right.
But when the user's interacting with it, it's EvilGinx.
Right.
It's wildly, it's scarily sophisticated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
But simple at the same time.
Yeah.
I just don't know how it pries itself in between. That's the key. It has to be, because GitHub's got to be pretty smart about what's coming and going from its front interface, but that this could get in between and trick it on that end. I'm not surprised it's able to trick me. It could have tricked. You could have had me with the screenshot and that web address.
Yeah.
But on the other end, to be able to have GitHub think that it's interacting with one of its users.
Mm-hmm.
Cookie piece I got too.
Why doesn't
GitHub
the
pick it up and
certificates.
shut it down too? Like, why don't they say, wait a second? Like, it's too bad that they can't.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're not. They're not.
They should see an IP address that's got something weird going on somehow.
Right.
And then shut down that IP address in the moment.
I don't know. I think it comes from the legitimacy. Chat's yelling at me to turn back on text to speech. I'm going to do that.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, maybe it's the legitimacy, the TLS, the certificate, that you know what I mean, the DNS that EvilGinx spins up. That is maybe why they can't go after it. You know what I mean?
And then, as you were showing this, I'm thinking about.
Do you have daddy? Translated from Italian.
Don't worry. Go ahead.
John says Neovimus Best says.
They're on here.
Ignore Nori lol.
Fallen
I
says.
also think about.
Chat's not important, it's okay.
Yeah.
RN Ogumbi says.
I'm back, baby.
But if you could get into that the email that is part of the 2 factor authentication,
Yep.
and then the next thing I think about is that this is all
Madam Fabulous says.
Iskial.
So, you know.
RN Ogumbi
If
says,
you get into that, you know, the email, if you're using Google Authenticator, I think that's a little bit harder, but if you're using simple text authentication.
Urizen says,
We're gonna send you,
F.
a number to your code.
Kitty says,
You read it, give it
not
back
sure
to
if
me.
F or my commuted
You're only
lol.
one step away. That's why EvilGinx is probably working on that too.
Yeah, but I mean, you're
Sari
supplying
Bot
that code.
says-
Once you get that code,
Saribot is here.
Oh, yeah,
I
I'm
wear a
gonna
stethoscope so that in
Yeah,
a
you're gonna
medical
put it in
emergency, I
EvilGinx.
can
I mean, it
teach
can be
people
generated from
valuable
anywhere.
lesson about assumptions.
If you can get,
Sarah will arrive.
Urizen says,
Total?
Dooku says,
And do whatever you want.
Refresh.
Everything, I just know one day I'm gonna sign on, they're all gonna be undigital.
Yeah.
All that digital money out there and things, you know, it's just-
I know, passkeys, go with passkeys. Especially your most
Colin
important
says,
stuff.
So you had a problem
Network
trying to get
unplugged.
a domain registered
Was tired of
because
this.
it had GitHub in it?
Yeah.
Was that the issue?
Yeah, so if you go to namecheap.com and plug in GitHub, well, you can do it here.
RN Ogumbi says,
Yes, Daddy, use passkeys.
Did you try to purchase it through like GoDaddy or anything like that?
I didn't. I just stuck with Namecheap because I had an account. And by the time that I had gone through the process of trying and emailing them back and forth for half a day, someone from my community helped out. So it's going to say that this is not available, but
Like if you put in like GitHub-help in the search up there, is that
Kitty says, to the person in the room asking questions, we love you. Can we keep you?
yes? Yes, I'm cheap.
Talking to you, Michael.
Do you have snacks?
oh, you're going to get along with Nori. Okay. Where you say GitHub help?
Yeah, like what was the domain that you used?
Mine
John says
was-
Neovimus Best
I
says,
forgot already.
NeoVim is best. Student that is still there, you should use it. Make Theo use it.
Madam Fabulous says,
Runam.
translated from Slovenian.
Nobody uses NeoVim. All the cool kids are
RN
using
Ogumbi says,
Nori
The
always has
running
the
gag
best
in the
snacks.
channel is that
Kitty says,
I mute and I
oh, okay, wait. Yes, I have
log
snacks.
in.
They mine snacks. No share.
I don't mute them.
John says Neovimus Best says,
I wipe out. I won't
LOL.
let them speak NeoVim. And the running gag is that the internet's full of people with hot takes, and I don't really have them. I'm like, whatever. Use Notepad++ if you can code, if you get it done. So that's the running gag, is that I've never used NeoVim. I have absolutely no experience with that at all, but I still like take it out on them when they bring up NeoVim. All right. It's login -github.org.
Madam Fabulous says,
Theo is
Okay.
allergic
So
to
you see this little
joy.
chat
Crying
thing right here?
face.
It doesn't give you a
Kitty
price.
says,
Right.
Neovim, Neovim,
You have
Neovim,
to- you have to ask them
Neovim,
for it.
Neovim,
That's
Neovim,
just
Neovim,
Namecheap. But like
Neovim,
other
Neovim.
domain providers.
So like
Translated
GoDaddy.
from
But by
Portuguese.
the way, there was one there that was
Colin
close.
says-
It was
All right, serious
something
question.
else, and they wanted
Should
to
I
charge
get
you
Indian
$1,000
food for
it.
lunch /
Somebody already
dinner, or
has
should
it,
I
and
get
they'll sell
Indian
it to you
food?
without checking
You know what? I think I'll get pizza.
$1,000 and they'll
RN Ogumbi
well, there's
says,
2,000 for GitHub.
NeoVim is the
Somebody
only
got
text
it, and they'd
editor.
gladly give it to you for $2,000.
7 raiders from
If you thought
Zero
you could
Day
make more than $2,000,
3301
doing
have
something
joined.
with it, you'd probably
Oh,
pay it.
all day long. But like I said, you know,
So
there's-
maybe go try GoDaddy.
yeah. Now this .orgs, I think you have to provide extra documentation to show that you're a nonprofit on some of them. But no, not really, because I just bought a .org, and I decided to like click that we're a nonprofit type of thing.
I know .gov you have to.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
So what do you want to check? GitHub.com.
Uh,
I mean, it'll give you.
check-
It'll
well,
give
if
you.
you
other-
just type in like GitHub, like it'll give you all these other options like GitHub.club. you know,
Yeah.
variations.
I don't know that.
Who was that? Zero Day. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? So, see, like, I mean, are any of those any good though?
Well, I
Let's
mean,
try like a login.
trying to find one that's good is a whole other thing. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, there's a billion people that have already stolen it. Right?
I like
Yeah.
I like GitHub.
Yeah.
Getter. GitHub.com.
That may blend in. There you go. GitHub's at $1,200.
There you go.
John says Neovimus Best says,
We're no strangers to love, you know the rules, and so do I have full commitments. What I'm thinking of, you wouldn't get this from any other guy.
GI1. So that's typo squatting. So I mean that would be
Yeah.
close, but still. But I chose to go that other route.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought I was impressed by what you did get. Somebody lent you access to that to be able to do the demo or whatever.
Yep. I didn't see if he. Okay, no, I don't see it.
RN Ogumbi says,
Say hi to your motherboard for me, Theo.
Stay off my
Madam
mom.
Fabulous says,
Web link.
So in the
It's a constant trolling from chat. I'm not.
RN Ogumbi
They
says,
do not, and that's part of the deal
Tell
too.
your mom
Like,
to stay off.
I have a
of me.
lot of beginners that come in and ask like beginner questions like how to escape Vim or how to like spin up a virtual machine. So the rule is like make fun of me
John
all you
says
want,
Neovimus
but
Best
everyone needs
says,
the help. Everyone needs the help. of
ISO
newbie when they
21
come in instead of
Trinitron
ridiculing
CRT.
them,
Yeah.
or let me Google that for you, that kind of shit.
Zero Day
So, we're gonna say, I'm sorry.
3301 says,
Dick.
so when you're doing the
Translated from
attack,
Dutch.
right? And they're entering their
RN
credentials,
Ogumbi
and you know, they
says,
send obviously your capture.
How do I hack your
Yep.
mom?
Do you have the ability that if it auto populates or like are you able to basically do like a keylog? Like you know how sometimes it'll like just auto populate your whatever,
Madam Fabulous
Your credentials.
says,
your credentials in there.
Yeah.
Since you were
Because it's
talking
an
about
event
typo
and
squatting
you're-
legitimate upstanding
Are you able
domains,
to pull in that event through some sort of state change?
So I think that event is triggered by the exact like website name. So
Okay.
GitHub.com.
Yeah.
So I don't
So
think you
si-
could. I don't. Go ahead.
Okay, so since you're not using the actual GitHub.
Yeah.
So let's say they put their username and they start to type in their password. But that's a state change, it's event, and they're like, oh crap, this is probably
John says Neovimus Best
a
says,
fake, a scam, whatever.
Time to
I'm just
practice
gonna delete this and
lockpicking.
close it. Do you have the ability to develop the page in such a way that you can pull it in just their keystrokes?
I don't think so. I think it has to be input the credentials and okay. The event, the clicking of the button,
Yeah.
okay or connect is what EvilGinx is waiting for. EvilGinx at that point is waiting for you to put in the credentials. So to click OK to send them to GitHub. So I don't think it has to be, I don't think it has the ability to capture them in real time. EvilGinx has, like, not everyone has a, like, github.com/login. A lot of times they're way more complicated. Like, I think Office 365 and Outlook, it's outlook.com and then probably the name of the domain and then a bunch of other, like,
RN
gobbledygook.
Ogumbi says,
The
EvilGinx
short
has
answer is
the,
yes,
has the
you can
ability
keylog
to
with EvilGinx.
drill down on that as well. But that's where it's in the fishlets. It's very specific. You have to try to log in legitimately to see that workflow, to then add that to the fish link. That's why, honestly, that's why we don't see more of this, because it's such an intensive process for the bad guys to go through.
Yeah, until it's an agentic AI task.
Until what?
Agentic AI. Just go do
Oh.
that and rebuild. Just do it for me. Jinx it for me. Bing. Then it's easier.
Yeah.
We're
We're a ways off, but yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've been trying it.
Yeah, well.
I try all kinds of AI pen testing tools, auto pen test, like.
Just man, like have you used like OpenAI's operator?
No.
So
no.
you have OpenAI's operator.
I've seen it. I
which-
just can't afford it.
Which does some cool things.
Mm-hmm.
But then like this weekend I've been testing out Manus. Manus, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Manus. Okay.
Manus,
Heard of it.
MANUSE, and it is light years ahead in how it performs than OpenAI stuff is.
Okay.
It's
John
insane.
says Neo
I've heard Claude
Vimisbest
stuff was
says
good too.
He's gonna find himself out of a
so,
job.
So Manus is a compilation of, or I don't know if that's the right word, but they're pulling in off of Claude.
Off of Claude.
They're pulling in off of different.
What company is that?
It's just Manus. That's the company.
That's the name of the
Yeah.
company, huh?
But Manus is using Anthropic or Claude's models.
In some way, yes.
Anthropic is
Ogami says
created a
Thanks
new
for streaming
protocol.
that presentation, Theo.
It's MCP, I think. I
Yeah.
can't remember it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To specifically allow their AIs to interact better with websites, APIs.
Yeah. They're trying to do the standardization.
Yep.
So that way everybody kind of moves to this format.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Is anyone vibe coding here? As a pen tester, I'm a huge fan of vibe coding. Love people to let AI build their stuff so they have no idea how it works, so I can go in and exploit it. Love it. Great idea. Companies that's all that they're using to code stuff is AI, and it is a recipe for disaster. I saw there's a tweet out there with a guy
1053
talking about
says
how he used AI a
Let's
lot,
vibe code
and people were
together.
exploiting APIs and corrupting databases. He's the first of many.
Yeah.
So.
Kitty says
Hi, Tawny.
Theo made all of this presentation on AI and ChatGPT. He also punches old grannies and steals
I
their
don't-
ice cream.
I don't punch grannies.
Madam
Stop that.
Fabulous says,
Database vibe.
translated from Danish.
Yeah.
John says Neo Vimisbest says,
My eye will vibe code your eye.
All day. They can go all day. Yeah, so I'm still a bit puzzled why. Where'd the Chrome go?
It's blocking.
Yeah, but like it doesn't
Penny
make
Bar 3
sense.
says,
You know what I mean?
I read somewhere that they think 25% of Y
it's on
Combinator is
VPS.
now vibe
I'm not trying to
coded
interrupt
almost
you. What are you saying?
entirely.
No, I'm working through it
RN
with you.
Ogumbi
I
says,
have no idea how it's
Theo
doing
is
it,
us
but
locked in
what
his
about
basement
what
and
about
won't let us out.
0 Day
how about it
3301
recognizes that you
says,
have one of those
I was
sort of
thinking
like
to integrate AI into Sclamapso for time-based injection. It could guess some stuff like table
and then saying,
names.
you know what, I don't like that.
John says
So
Neo
just blocking you out of
Vimisbest
that,
says,
like a blacklisted.
So
web
can your
domain.
mom.
But I hear what you're saying.
Because you could go to GitHub, but you can't go to what do you call it, login dash, or whatever it was, login dash.
Tanifar 3
Steve,
says,
two is the newest one.
I'm going to make a website rating vibe coding workflows and going to call it
GitHub
Vibrator.
doesn't like that. Why not just simply have a long list of sus looking URLs?
Because it didn't give us.
RN Ogumbi says,
My mom has died that why I'm on yours.
Madam Fabulous says,
There's the message. The site can't be reached.
Tanifar 3 says,
Also hello from 31,000 feet.
Wait a minute.
Something closer than the browser is stopping
Did
you.
you look at the network traffic?
I didn't. I'm going for low hanging fruit.
Something's working. Something, in my mind, something's working to keep you from being able to do it.
HTTPS DNS address cannot be found.
RN Ogumbi says,
Where are you flying,
It should
Tommy?
be HTTPS definitely, because it has the certificates.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Theo, time to follow basic troubleshooting.
I don't know. Puzzled by it. I have to look into it some more.
Give it a spec element.
RN Ogumbi says,
Noise.
Like,
Yep. I'm just gonna put it back in.
12. Yeah, then what's the network look like over there? Up to the top there, yeah. So give it a refresh the page.
R Dooku says,
Try to ping it.
John says Neovimus Best says,
B7H30 anti-shake.
Like it's not even, oh, there it goes. But double click on that.
Well, that is canceled.
Click on that.
Yeah, double click on that.
RN Ogumbi says,
I pinged your mom.
Strict origin when
John says
cross-origin.
Neovimus Best says,
Ohio was rated the worst state.
Is there anything like if you click on the caret next to response headers, there's nothing there?
Theo will click on anything.
I will click on anything.
As you should. Nothing. Nothing. What's the response say up there in the top tab there or down? Yeah, right there. Nothing. Preview, nothing. That's odd. That's not giving you anything more than that.
Are you familiar with that strict origin?
Tennyfar 3
cross-origin
says,
referrer policy?
Theo will click on this,
It
not a
enhances
link.
privacy by limiting the information shared in the refer header when making cross-origin requests. When the policy is active, only the
John says
origin,
Neovimus
team
Best
hosting,
says,
and port of the
This
referring
dude
entity
chatting is an
set.
MVP.
Omitting the path
Madam Fabulous
and
says,
query strings prevents the
Web
leakage
link.
of potentially sensitive data
Kitty
contained in
says,
the URL.
Theo, what's your social security number again? I forgot.
It has to do with React.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I-
I'll have to look into it.
RN
Yeah.
Ogumbi says,
This guy has to join you Discord, Theo. I want to pick his brain.
What's your DNS records look like?
What's that?
What's your DNS records look
On the VPS, maybe that's it. I got to do this first. It's got a build config file somewhere.
RN Ogumbi says,
Theo is a walking dox.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Change the lights
That's
to green
the IP of
PL0X.
The VPS.
could you, like, let's say if I was on my phone using data, like, I'd be able to reach that certain domain name, right?
That domain, yeah, you should.
Login-github.org.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, he did it through his computer phone, right?
Yeah. It's only on YSU's Wi-Fi. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So we think that there's somehow figuring out what he's up to.
I mean, they could have something between, but at the same time, it's weird.
It feels like it's something on my end, that it's a setting somewhere. I'm just trying to understand the connection between, if it runs on my infrastructure, just connecting to it, that was what I mean. How come it,
Does that have a DNS? Can you just
I think
type
it's
in-
Tailscale.
It's odd, yeah. I don't know much about it, but I know we tried to mess with some earlier, and we switched it just to like Google's DNS to see if we could ping something, and it did not work. So
Yeah, that's what you have up there.
Is it available still?
Let me check, it should be.
RN Ogumbi says,
The school's Wi-Fi firewall is blocking it.
That's on this Columbia.
Yeah, it's still enabled. So it's login-github.org.
Yeah, it's not. It's not working with my data or.
Tanifar3 says,
It's
Time to debug.
Urizen says,
So,
Or their local DNS without the records.
so what I'll do is, Tailscale lets me create a network for my devices, right?
Tanifar3 says,
I set it up
Are you DNS through
and
Tailscale?
I put Tailscale on a Raspberry Pi. That way, a customer, all they had to do is boot the Raspberry Pi and connect it, and it's on my network. And then I can use it to scan their environment. So it occurs to me, if I have Tailscale up, and I've been using it on my home network, and it's on this, then
RN
that's what's
Ogumbi
preventing
says,
it from.
It worked for me.
Tanifar3 says,
You can use Dig to work it out. See what it is returning.
Try to navigate to it now.
I'm gonna use DNS checker.
Okay.
So that I can see.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Dig Dug?
Well, it's giving me. It's giving me 200. Oh, okay, yeah. Data.
I am basic troubleshooting. What's that?
Yeah, it's working.
Kitty
on data.
says,
It is working on there now?
remember follow Nori Kitty on Twitch. I live DJ and dance in VR. Shameful
on
plug.
your
I am
phone
earning
separate
from this
from-
presentation also.
Okay. So it's just YSUs.
from
Am I understanding you right? From what you see?
Where security's working.
I'm just wondering how they're hitting it.
Might have something that checks what exits.
Yeah.
They may have whitelist.
John says Neovimus
Yeah,
Best
yeah,
They have
says,
whitelisted everything.
Lol, smiley face.
Interesting.
I mean, that'd be a crazy approach for them to use. I
Right.
mean, for everything.
Well, you probably can contract that. I'm sure that they're paying somebody
Oh,
who
yeah.
provides a white list for anybody who wants to, you know.
For
See-
legitimate sites.
That's
Did you try it on your phone at one time and it wouldn't come up?
It was because I was connected to the Wi-Fi.
Kitty
I
says-
didn't even know.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
Apple.
they can't click
yeah,
it link
Sometimes
IRL.
Apple just automatically puts it on. I don't like that sometimes.
Mhm.
But it's it works everywhere else.
That's what it is.
I was not expecting that.
Well, it's good, isn't it? I mean, that
That makes
For
sense.
YSU, yeah.
Yeah,
For me, no.
no.
When talking, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
like, in
so
a sense,
you,
it's a good sign.
yeah, because if you set that up around here and then add it to GitHub, well, there's
Tenny Far 3
there's
says,
the one guy upstairs who's
Might
got
help.
a completely malicious
Oh.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If you have that GitHub on there, put those two things together, that'd be bad, right? Yeah, of course.
You can use NeoVim to scan the network with this command. Nmap has P192.168.1.024.
Kitty says, Theo told us to start a game with people in the class at a random event. First person to raise their hands gets $5. Tanny Far 3 says,
Tie.
RN Ogumbi says,
You have me tokens now, Theo, you're welcome.
Relentless. Okay. That's it.
Very cool.
Thank you.
I learned.
Yeah, good. I appreciate you coming by. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. You guys need anything else from me?
No, no,
Okay.
that's it.
Cool.
So if you're really wondering more about it, we
John
can try to
says
get the
NeoVim is
network
best,
engineer on
says,
board. Honestly, do you think
Make
they'll
Kermit
want
sing.
an answer?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure something on my end. I'll take a look at it.
Well, we'd hope no one can just do what you did to us.
That's true. Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. See you. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
When do you plan on leaving?
In the next half an hour, probably.
Okay.
I think Joe comes in next.
Kitty
at 4,
says,
doesn't he? There's
Theo
one more
likes
speaker
cats
coming in
more
the
than
room
dogs.
before,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I just want to talk later. If that's
You can chat now. It's fine.
Okay.
They're just going to keep going on and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I guess. So, I guess that's the only thing I ask. Just
Yeah. No, we turn on. Yeah.
Okay.
He says,
If the school
Oh my gosh. Are you all done whining? Chat? Now what are we going to do?
Hey. RN Ogumbi says.
What whining?
Static Drop
Never.
says.
We never cease.
Never cease. The next group's going to be coming in, so I'm going to start tearing down.
RN Ogumbi says.
PI.
Translated from Spanish. Urizen says.
Time to pack it up.
Yep.
Kitty says. Now we're going to hack the school.
No, we're not going to hack the
John
school.
says Neo Vimusbest says.
Did you make a friend?
There's a student and stuff we want to talk about. My life is for your amusement.
RN Ogumbi says.
We see that LinkedIn.
Yep. I was talking about overgrown carrot. Yeah, so I was not expecting it not to work on YSU's infrastructure.
John says Neo Vimusbest says.
Students can be friends.
Static Drop says.
How did you even get on campus?
I'm an alumni here.
Says.
It worked for me.
Okay. Well, something's up. Is my phone on the Wi-Fi here?
John says Neo Vimusbest says.
He has locked picks.
Kitty says. You couldn't hack the school if you tried, even though you are plugged into their network. Because you can't even bypass a website.
Stop it.
RN
You're not
Ogumbi
goading me
says,
into hacking the
You have any
life.
tokens?
All right. I think if I unplug it, it will just go away. Yeah. Well, thank you all. Really, that was a good time.
John says Neo Vimusbest says.
You need swag to hang out next time.
RN Ogumbi says.
Nope, it's still there.
It was working. It was working at first. That's what I don't understand. It was working. Because I tested it. I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
Kitty says. How much you getting paid? Much.
I'm not getting paid.
John says Neo Vimusbest says.
Maybe their system detected it and blocked it after first try.
Urizen says.
Painful if merchandise when.
Static Drop says.
I don't know. I've thought about that.
We figured.
Kitty says. Anything you can steal. Take a show. John says Neo Vimusbest says.
He needs an actual logo or something.
Yeah, I got to create a logo. Surprised it's not in here already.
Not a rotary dial cut out in MS Paint.
For real.
Kitty says. Steal the penguin. Better than that Browns flag. R.N. Ogumbi
No,
says,
I could just take
Look
them.
at that
I
ugly
can't
mug.
do. I can't do that. I can't believe he's just hanging there. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Kitty says, oh wow. John says Neovimus Best says,
Nori will dono $50.
R.N. Ogumbi says,
You on live stream that is usable in court, don't do it.
Kitty says, $10 to steal the penguin.
No. You're going to use that money to get me to shave my beard, remember? Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate everyone stopping by today. We need to raid someone. The next group's coming in.
Urizen says,
Nice, Mike. The audio was nice.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Don't shave it. Need it bigger.
R.N. Ogumbi says,
Raid your mom.
Oh,
Static
got
Drop
him.
says,
Only 'cause you're so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Jess says,
By Theo.
Bye, Jess. Thank you.
Kitty says, glad it went well.
It did. Thank you all for
Jess says,
behaving.
Great job.
Thank you. Who are we rating? No one. There's no one on. I don't have my notifications on.
R.N. Ogumbi says,
I told you your mom.
Madam Fabulous says,
I was an angel, thank you, baby angel.
Yeah, you all were pretty good.
Kitty says, raid Jess, she is streaming.
Stop it. No, she's not.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Woman in Red presents is only one on Info's X streams.
R.N. Ogumbi says,
It's not hard to be good when you mute us.
Stunlight trap attracts
Oh my
and traps
gosh.
black insects without chemical insecticides. So no matter what the day cooks up for you. Stunlight trap.
Got a hacker hoodie. It's enough for me.
R.N. Ogumbi says,
Just ignore us, Theo. We see how it is. I'm telling you, Mom.
John says Neovimus Best says,
Yeah, that'll work.
GG. Let's go.
Can you
Translated
do the
from
raid?
French. Urizen says,
Thanks all for behaving while muted.
John says Neovimus says,
No.
Okay. Woman in red dress presents. Woman in red presents. All right, let's catch this out of here. Oh,
Seribot says,
it's a follower
Have a great
subscribe only
rest of
chat.
your day.
Can anyone
Don't forget
cancel
to
that?
Stay hydrated and take care of yourself. Sarah Bo loves Sarah Bo arrive.
John says Neovimus says,
Dumb.
RN Ogumbi says,
You can't.
I'm on mobile. I don't know how. Ugh.
Kitty says, Noiki want you.
I agree. How you doing? I'm well, thanks. All right, gang, I'm out of here. I can't undo it. Nori, change it. Thank you. All right, let's do Matisek. Did it work? MATISSETEC. Can I copy this? This is so painful. Professional. Thank you, Nori. Their mobile app is garbage. Bye, gang. Did it go?